So I guess we start there. So I'm going through the emails, and this beat is called like "To the Max," and I'm like, that's a corny ass name. What kind of name is "To the Max"?
Right, right.
Like, what does that even mean? All right, whatever. But I'm also thinking I gotta hurry up because if somebody else hears these beats and claims
Yeah.
them, I might miss out on some fly shit. And this is a weird situation. I've never been in a situation where 6 or 7 of us have the beat at the same time, and it's just like, all right, whoever gets to the top of the barrel first. Like, nah,
I
this is
didn't even,
crazy.
and I didn't even look at it that way. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, all right,
How
how
were
can
you
I?
looking at it?
That was just something I was doing. I was like, all right, how can I market myself? I had just got with Square, and I was like, all right, how
Mm,
can I market myself without paying the 59.99 for email marketing? I was like, how can I do
okay.
this? So that's when I was like, all right, I'm out. You know what I mean? I was, I'm gonna keep building up this email list, and I'm gonna just keep sending out beats.
I was smart.
My gosh.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna just keep sending out beats, get somebody's attention. You know, it was COVID. It's like everybody's
Right.
home. It's like I need this to go directly to somebody.
Yeah.
And it did. And I was
Yeah.
I was in I was in the crib like, oh my God,
Hustle.
I gotta hear the heat first. I gotta hear the heat first because if somebody, because you know what I kept thinking was if I don't get to it first, somebody else is gonna have a super fly beat,
And that was
and
the
I'ma
last
just
thing
be
on my mind.
mad as hell in the crib. I'ma just be tight, like shit. This person I don't even know got the beat. Cause you gotta think, like, I don't know all the people on this email. Like Days was in the email, yes. So
Facts.
maybe if it's a beat I
Facts.
really wanted, I could be like, yo, Days, let's collaborate. Here's my idea. And maybe we could just, trade beats or something. But I don't know the rest of these people. So I'm just like, nigga, hurry up
Oh.
and listen to these beats.
Thinking back on it now, I get what you mean. Like, I didn't even think of it like that. I didn't even think of
Yeah,
it
because
like
it's
that.
just like, son, imagine if somebody else would have claimed comeback baby and I already was loving the beat. Angry.
That's the wild
Arthur
part.
Fist.
That's the wild part is that everyone just skipped over that one. Like, just skipped
I
right over it.
responded immediately. I heard like 20 seconds of that shit and was like, reply all. Taken. I'm taking this one. Thanks.
So let me tell you, right? The wild thing about that. Remember I told you about my grandma, my grandmother that moved closer to me not too long
Mm-hmm.
ago. So,
Mm-hmm.
yo, when I tell you she loves Maxwell,
Mm.
to this day, you start talking about Maxwell, she start blushing. I be like, yo, relax. Like, what's going on with you? Like, I be like,
I almost spit
relax.
my water out. That's
He's
mad funny. Listen,
So,
everybody,
right.
everybody got their celebrity crush. You know what
Listen,
I'm
I
saying?
forgot where I was. I forgot. I think I was at a wedding or something like before, everything shut down. And that song came on that I think it's something something. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
I was listening, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to work on this when I get a minute. And that was
Hey,
it. Once I got the
it
chops
sure was.
down, yeah. Once I got the chops down, I was like, yeah, this is I was like, somebody's gonna like this.
And somebody did. Because
Yeah.
I immediately heard that shit and I was just listening to the sample in the beginning. I was like, okay, but what the fuck is it gonna sound like when this beat drops? And when that beat dropped, I didn't even finish listening to it. I just went right in the email and made sure to press reply all and was
Facts.
like,
This was mine.
taken, taken, taken.
Yeah,
Don't you even
ever
think about it.
I don't think I've ever hit reply all in my life. You know that option's
I
always
made
sitting there.
sure. I made sure to hit reply all so there is zero confusion.
Oh shit.
You
I'm
want
not mad at
everybody
Zero
it.
to know that it
confusion.
was not there.
Yeah. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. And
Listen,
if you do, I got my proof right here. Hey, I hit it first. You know what I'm saying?
that's like the kid in the classroom be like this.
Facts. The teacher ain't even finished the question yet. It's like, well, the train is going 30 miles an hour.
Hmm.
Nigga, like, you don't even know what's happening. It's me. I got it. It's me.
Everybody mad.
Right here, teacher. Right here.
So, Flip, we need to know,
Yes.
has grandma heard Comeback Baby?
You know what's
Oh.
damn, that's amazing. I didn't even think to send her the song. I sent her the beat.
Okay.
The like she was an artist. I just sent her the beat randomly. Like
Oh, she got my reply all.
She was on the
I sent
DC.
it. Right, right. I sent her the beat and she called me and she was like, cause she calls me Ty. She was like, Ty, she was like, what is that? She was like, that sounds like, she's like, did you do a remake of Maxwell? I was like, yeah, you like it?
Yes.
She's like, I love this. She was like, oh my goodness. So
Nice.
that's when I was like, all right, that was the stamp I needed right there.
That's it, right?
Yeah, I said, if I can get the stamp from her, it's on. So
Man, I can't tell you how many days I
I'm gonna
was
send her the
just in
song,
the
but go ahead.
crib.
You gotta send her the song.
Got to. Yeah, I can't tell you how many days I was in the crib just two-step into the beat on my speakers. No interest in even writing, just enjoying the beat. I think even one time we was hanging out and I was like, hey, Dash, you got to hear this shit. She's like,
Yeah,
what? You recorded something? And I was like, no. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it yet,
Yeah.
but check this out.
that's a good vibe.
Yeah.
That it's a good vibe. Like honestly, it's crazy that, and I mean nothing's true to be honest, but it's just certain beats that as I'm working on them, every producer has that story. Like they work, they're like, oh, this is special. Like you start thinking like, all right, who can I hear on this? And no one came to mind. I was like, damn, I have no idea who could get on this. I was like, I don't know
Right.
anybody that could swag this right here. I was like, maybe somebody will sing on it. You know what I mean? I was like, maybe somebody will sing on it. And I usually wouldn't even drop a beat like that in an email like that because I'm always thinking about copyrights and stuff. And you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, there's samples on
Right.
there. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just add this one in there. It was probably, if you go back to that email, it's probably the last attachment. It's probably, I'm telling
Well, no,
you.
you were sending emails with one beat per email.
Oh, okay.
And
Got
that's why
you.
I was stressed.
Got you.
Because at first when it was
Got
just
you.
one beat, I was like, all right, this is weird. But it was like 6 emails, each with one beat. And I'm like, what is this nigga doing?
Oh,
Why is he
yeah.
sending one beat per email? What the hell is going on?
Listen, the COVID era, you had to step up your annoyance. So you had to be a little more annoying because you know what I mean? There was so much going on. You just had to be right here. So that sounds about
By
right.
email number 4, they'll look at it.
Yeah. We're just gonna break these
not.
6 emails up into this one email and the 6.
And I know they was mad because I definitely claimed the 2 that I wanted immediately.
Like if that
So
song blow up, if somebody go to their email, like, can you imagine if it did, you know, they get closer to the screen, like, wait, like, but go ahead. That would be
well, I was
amazing.
gonna say, so I do the song
Mm-hmm.
and you hear it. Talk about first time you hear Come Back Baby.
Oh, with the vocals on it. Okay.
Because I sent you unmixed vocals.
Right. You know, I was gonna
I
start there.
recorded it,
Yeah.
send it straight to you with nothing on it.
So, okay. So now this is the part where I'm balancing the producer and the engineer hat. So I always tell you when the song comes back, I start creating the disclaimers like, all right, you know, I haven't touched this
Right.
yet. You know, this how I got it.
Right.
So I'm listening, and as soon as I press play, you know, I'm listening. I'm like, all right, I like this. But I remember when it first came on, and I'm listening, and I couldn't even like nod my head because I was like, what the hell is he doing? Like, I'm listening because mind you, it's raw vocals, so it's like the vocals are low to me at least. Because I'm listening, I'm like, what's he doing? So the first thing I
Right.
could do is I just press stop because I couldn't take it. Like I was like, all right, hold on.
I gotta put something on this.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. I was like, this needs a hug, you know? So I'm in there, I'm leveling stuff. I'm like, all right. Once I got to a point, I was like, all right, now I can listen to it. So I'm listening to it, and I'm like, once I hear the baby come back, I was like, hold on. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, we might have something here. I'm listening
That's
to it.
exactly what you text me.
Yeah, I was like, we might have something here. Because
That's exactly what you text
I'll
me.
start texting you while the song is playing. I'm listening. I'm like, okay. So I think I played it maybe 3 times. And then I was like, yo, I love it. I was like, I love the song. I was like, it just needs to be mixed badly. But it
And
sounds,
I was like, all right, man, get to work.
yeah, I was like, but I think other than that, I think everything is perfect. It just needs to come together.
I remember you told me, and I don't know if you remember this, but I remember you told me, you said, as I was listening, I was wondering what you was gonna do with the breakdown part that you
Mm-hmm.
turned into a bridge. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I remember you was like, son, I don't think I know another rapper who did a bridge on like anything I've heard recently. And I was like, it was there. I mean, it was there. Why not?
Because you know, a bridge is like, you know, you got to hit them with the air
Some
quotes.
R&B shit.
That's
Yeah,
too
some
much
R&B
work.
shit.
That's too much work.
Oh, I think he's gonna say some R&B shit. Well, you know.
That, you know. Things
For
like
me, it's
that.
not.
Yeah, you know, they'd be like, nah, yo, just take the what I did early and just paste that. Yeah, yeah, you know. So I thought that was very creative.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Thanks.
very creative, man. But that's a special track
Thank you.
all around. Like I got
No, no.
I
Listen,
am a
speak
fan.
freely. I'm actually about to pull up the track list. Right. Go ahead,
oh
Dash.
man, I
I am
love
a
it.
fan.
Thank you.
I, I,
Thank you.
so yes, I did hear the beat before before it all came together.
You remember what you told me?
No, I don't even remember.
he was like, he was like, he was like, when the beat came off, she looked at me. She said, "Okay, two things. Number one, this is great. Like this is really fucking good." Which
That's
leads me
what's
to
up.
number two,
That's
and
what's up.
I made my face like, "All right, here we go." She said, "Hurry up and write to it. We waiting now." And I was like, "Oh
Right.
man, all right."
Fire.
And then it was hurry up and release it. Hello, because I can't because then it
Right.
became okay. So you you got it on your phone, right? Can you just play it for me real quick, or because
Right.
I don't have access to it. I can't listen to it, but I
Right.
would like to hear it
Right.
again.
Right.
So
Right.
so yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Comeback Baby. You guys
That's what's up.
did your
That's
thing.
what's up.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate it.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good song. It is.
And when I sent it to her finally, she was like, "Okay, great. Now I can dance all over my
Right.
house and enjoy it."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I can play it on my own whenever I want.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
that's two-step music, man. It might
Absolutely.
you know, you might have to high step.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely
So
is.
so let's go through the track list. So we
Let's
did
do
come
it.
back, baby. Let's go to He's Gone Mad. So I remember when I first heard the beat, like I said, it was on it was on the website. And I just remember hearing it and was like, this is so weird and like
Yes,
kind of challenging.
unorthodox as hell.
And I remember just being like, what am I gonna do with this? And I didn't know, but I knew the flow that I wanted to use. I just was like, I have no idea what the context of this will be. And so I had the beat, but we were talking a lot about, okay, now we have all these beats. What the hell are we gonna do? What kind of project? And you was on some like, man, whatever you come up with, we'll figure it out later. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I remember.
Nah. I was like, nah. You like, what do you mean? I'm like, I like concepts. And I remember it was like there was just like a quick conversation. It was like, all right, well, let's both think of concepts and see what we come up with. But then I was listening to like all the beats. I created a playlist of all the beats that I had. And I don't think I had Come Back Baby and Fool yet at this time. It was just the ones from the website.
I
Yeah, it
believe
was just
that.
the ones from the website. Yeah, it was
I
just the ones from
believe
the
that.
website. So it was like maybe 6 or 7 beats. It wasn't even the full 10 or 15 or whatever. It was
Comeback
like
Baby
six or
was
seven
more
beats.
recent. That was a more recent,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fool and Comeback Baby came later with the emails.
Gotcha.
But I remember just listening to the beats and I was like, none of these beats sound like they belong together.
At
Like
all.
this shit sounds crazy. Like it sounds all over the place. And maybe that's the theme. And so then we spoke again. And I said that, and you was like, all right, so what you thinking? Like some Joker Asylum, some Batman
Yeah,
Asylum type
yeah,
shit?
yeah.
And I was like, maybe, but I feel like that's not good enough. You was like, nigga, Joker is not good enough? What do you mean? Like, that
Yeah,
lets you go
at
anywhere.
that point, I had no idea. I was like, all right, let me just see where this is gonna go. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know either. Honestly, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sold on Joker. Let's keep that as an idea, but let's keep
Mm-hmm.
thinking. And so we had like possibly some kind of Joker theme thing, some kind of like crazy asylum thing. And then I don't know. One day I was just listening to the beats and I'm like, oh, what about the Mad Hatter?
I remember
And
I
so,
was like, the what? I said the mad what? What is that? Well, go ahead.
no, keep going. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was like, what is that? I was like, I have no
Right.
idea what that is.
Right. So then I'm like, you've never seen Alice in Wonderland? Like,
Right.
you
And I
don't
was
know the
like,
Mad Hatter? And he's like, no, I
yeah, I
don't
probably seen
know.
it once.
Right. That was
Ooh.
what you said. He's like, I might have seen it once, but I don't really know. And I was like, all right, let me break it down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, that is crazy. And I still don't know how you're going to tie all these beats together, but we're going to have to figure it out. So I'm like, yeah, we are going to have to figure it out. But then I knew what to do with He's Gone Mad because I'm like, oh, I got to talk about what made the guy go crazy and the guy being me. And so I put together this song that I was like, all right, what am I angry about? What makes me angry? What's like annoying? Let me just make a song about all the shit that annoys me and makes me mad.
There you go.
And as I was writing it, I remember being like, okay, maybe I gotta remove some of the things I'm saying here because I was kind of ODing. And so I did end up changing a few lines. But that was how He's Gone Mad came about. And then I
That's all right.
remember I went and found um I had a drop I wanted to use. I had an audio clip I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
use, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was like, I don't know if we're gonna use this or not. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. And I was like, nah, it's perfect. And then he's like, all right, go ahead, do what you do. And then when you send it to me, we'll see.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I'm
Gotta
like,
follow the
all right.
creative path, man.
Right. So then I sent it to him. But when I sent it, it didn't have the audio drop. So there was
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of space in the beginning. And I remember we were trying to figure out like, what we gonna do with that space? I was like, oh, I'm gonna find more audio drops. Don't worry. And then one day I was in the crib and was like, man, fuck them audio drops. We don't need 20 audio drops. I'm gonna get one short clip and I'm gonna fill in the rest. And that's how that beginning part of me talking came on, where it's like, why isn't he rapping yet? He got all this beat in the beginning. How you gonna start your project and you
That's
not rapping
hilarious.
for like the first 40 seconds?
And you sound just
And
like the
then
damn project too.
Yeah.
yeah, because that's how I said it. I was like, this nigga got all this beat in the beginning. Yeah.
No, that was
And
good.
then I just was like, you got to insert the audio clip right when I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, He's Gone Mad. And then the shit drops.
The wild thing is,
So,
as you talking about it, I'm hearing that annoying, like I think it's a flute that's in the beat.
yo, yeah.
It
Yeah, that
always
noise.
annoyed me from the day I
Yeah.
made the beat. And I remember when you was like, I like this beat, I was like, oh my goodness, I said this guy, man.
You
So
got the
I
old
remember,
This-
flute?
yeah, I said, oh my gosh, I cannot believe he picked this beat. So I remember when I'm mixing the beat and I was like, all right, if I could tame this sound, and I was like, just enough so it's not bothering me as much. Doesn't bother me anymore. But I was like, if
right.
I could just get that annoyance out of it, I said, we good to go. And I remember I did something. I think it was a mistake. Like my hand might have slipped, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on." I was like, "Hold on." I was like,
He's like,
"Hold
that was
on."
it.
Yeah, I was like, "Hold
That was it
on."
right there.
I was like, "Hold on," and I was like, "All right, we good." That it was just that one sound that bothered me. But I just remember I didn't know what to do with the intro of the beat. I was like, "Damn, what do
Mm-hmm.
I do with this?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna reverse the beginning. I'm gonna just make it go backwards and do some weird." And then yeah, that's the whole
Nice.
talking part you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was wild how it came together. And I feel like once we knew, hey, we're doing Mad Hatter,
Mm-hmm.
then the pieces started coming together quicker. Because before that, I was just writing whatever and was like, oh, all right, I have this idea, I have that idea. But then once I knew I had Mad Hatter, it was like, okay, now I know I have to create some kind of structure that's going to tie all of this together.
That's a fact.
But what's crazy is, oh, 1 second, Dash. What's crazy is we already had a couple songs done. This is the first song on the project, but it wasn't the first song that we
Oh
finished.
no. Yeah, no, definitely wasn't.
Go ahead,
So I was
Dash.
gonna ask, did you end up giving some of the songs another pass? Like, did you write them and then go back and say, I don't know if this works conceptually anymore, or did everything
Well,
kind of
Mm.
still come together?
there's two beats I started writing to and stopped
Okay.
because I felt like they wouldn't really mesh well. Because one of the things that we tried to do too was I said, all right, if we're gonna do this Mad Hatter shit, then no two songs can sound the same. They have to all sound different. So we're kind of striking like different emotions and taking you to different parts of the journey. And I remember Flip was like, okay,
That was the
that's gonna
turning
be
point.
crazy.
That was the turning
Right.
point. Cause yeah.
So that was when there's two beats that I started writing to that I was like, they can't all go. And I remember we didn't know which ones were gonna go first because I
Mm-hmm.
remember talking to you, and I told you I was like, I don't know how these two beats are gonna be there if these other two beats are already there, and we didn't know at this point what was gonna go and what wasn't. So I just was going with what naturally was calling out to me more. And one beat, I think I stopped. I only wrote like a hook. I didn't even write anything else. And the other one was supposed to be like a long rap similar to Keys, and I never even finished it because I was like, nah, it doesn't make sense. Keys is already there, and we knew Keys has to be there because that was the first joint that we did together. It only makes sense, and it was like not our single. But everybody knew it and loved it. Like everybody was already like, "Yo, Keys is crazy. When's more coming? Like, what is this leading to?" And we were like, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But when we did figure it out, it was like, okay, so Keys has to be in this mix for sure.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, yeah, so there are two beats that from that time. I mean, we've discussed things, and there's more beats now, but
Mm-hmm.
in that beginning phase, those two beats was like, yeah, nah, these two can't go if these other two are there. Because one beat I felt like was too similar in vibe to Woo, which when we get to Woo, we'll talk about Woo. But I felt like one was too similar to Woo. And then, like I said, the other one was like a long rap similar to Keys. And I was like, nah, it can't be two long raps on a short project. It's like we could do so much more creatively.
I
And
respect
then,
that.
yeah, that's what we decided. Yeah.
So, Flip, you said this was the turning point. Is this the moment where you realized that wow, this might actually make sense? Like the beats
Yeah.
coming together? Because originally you said,
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing with all these beats. This sounds
Right.
Right.
crazy to me. So this was the point where you were like, oh, we might be able to create some
Right.
sort of cohesion from the chaos.
Exactly. Because you know what it is? He was picking beats that he was picking beats that when I'm in here cooking and I'm in my real creative zone, beats that I don't know how other people might feel about. When I start taking chances, like, all right, instead of dropping the drums over here, I'm gonna just take the drums away and do this and like it, you know what I mean? And just envision the way a song would come out. And then a lot of artists would be like, yeah, but why the beat didn't drop there, or why it didn't do that? And I'm like, I did that on purpose because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want it to. So when he's picking these beats, I'm like, oh, he's taking the more complicated ones. Like, I'm like, okay, like I'm like, all right, the ones
That's
that
got to be satisfying for you.
it is, but
Yeah.
like my man Tone, I've known him forever,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll tell you right now, if I make a beat, he's gonna tell me, nah, bro, nah, shorten the verse to 12, or do this, or thing, because he's like, nah, that's trust me, I'm telling you, that's what everybody is on. You get what I mean? And sometimes he's right.
That
Sometimes
makes sense though.
right.
Yeah, but that makes
Sometimes he's
sense.
right. Sometimes he may not be right. So it's just certain beats. Those are the beats that I'm like, yeah, I'm putting this on the site because these are the ones that I'm like, somebody gonna like this one of these days.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the turning point because I realized that in the chaos and the madness of the project, we're gonna lean into it
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense. So I'm like, all right.
Right.
Okay.
I was like,
Right.
you make sense of it not making sense. I'm with you.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what he kept telling me throughout the process.
I'm
It's
with
like,
you. Like,
I don't know how you gonna do this, but I'm with you. Let's
yeah,
see.
let's do it.
He's like, I'm following your lead on this. And I'm like, all right, here we go.